Hello guys, hello, TGIF. How is everybody doing? It is absolutely gorgeous here today. Hot, but it's gorgeous. So let's take a peek. Let's see. It's a lot more quiet than I thought it would be. I really didn't know what to expect. So we're going to take a peek around. I'll show you everything. But even for tourists, it's like really, really not busy. All right, let's see. So we don't have our buses here today on either side. And on the west side of the Capitol, they have started already setting up for the 4th of July concert. So they got, like the tent going up and bringing in porta potties, that kind of thing. So let's take a look here. Hi, honey. How are you?
Very good, man. Thank you.
So we do have over on this side a bunch of cars here, and they, obviously they are agents of some sort. And then over this side as well. So, let me see. It doesn't appear as if anybody's in them. So there's a bunch of them here. And then there's a bunch of them over there. I got my keys in this hand, so let me see. I'm just trying not to walk too much. My procedure on my left hip did not take, so I'm just not doing so great. So we have some over there as well. I just zoomed in on those ladies, poor things. All right, so we do have these here. Now, whether they're here inside, I don't know, but nobody appears to be in them. So let's take a walk over here by the Supreme Court. And there's not really that much going on there either. Let's go. Now they have, and I'll show you when we get over there, but in the meantime, they have put the fencing up along the front where the stairs are. But around the building where they have the small openings, they have not closed them off. And also they don't have as many officers on the inside of the fencing around the perimeter as I would think they normally do when they have something bigger. And I would think also that if they were expecting something bigger today, and I could be very wrong, but, just from what we've seen here in the past, they would not have those openings. And those openings, are on the backhand side of the building, and then over, looking at the building here on the left-hand side, those small openings are still open. And they really do have, now, where these guys are, I don't know. But they're not visible over here. There's really the bare minimum. So, I'm not sure anything big will happen today. And then once we get over here, let's see. We do have some media, but not a whole lot. We have a couple police right over there, but hardly anything. I'll show you when we get closer. But there's only a couple. There's a couple there. The dog. But very minimal. Let's see here. What am I doing? Okay. A little bit of media here.
You got travel from the hotel?
Well, you're on a landmark.
So this is the only section that they've closed off so far. And they do have the right to be here. Now the woman right there is normally very obnoxious when she comes. Very obnoxious. I've seen her many times. We've seen her many times. Well, at least they got that right. Oh, the kangaroo courts. Okay, we just have a couple of people over there.
Pennsylvania Coal Company v. Mays.
Two police right there. That's it as far as like security goes. So far. Let's get away from this.
Overrode their right to live comfortably in their own home. They use this right to argue that any law that infringes on their property is a taking law.
Oh, it's a lot more quiet than I thought. I wasn't sure really what to expect, like I said. But if I were to take a guess, I don't think anything's really coming down today yet. I could be wrong. So, I wanted to come over here where it wasn't so loud and just kind of, refresh our memories on some stuff that I've been thinking about. Okay, so I know everybody's sitting on the edge of their seat. We're like, what's coming out of here is going to be, the immunity, is going to be the Brunson, is it going to be the 2020 election? Okay, so let's go back in time. To me, I hate being about a bunch of people because let's go over here. Excuse me, I'm sorry. All right, so just by knowing what I know around here, I personally, the 2020 thing, I don't really think that that would be the case. If that was the case, I would think, and I'm just putting my thoughts together, that if it was going to be something that big, that it would not be this fencing, okay? That more than likely they would put up the big black riot fencing, okay? The climb proof and stuff. Because that's enormous, and that's going to piss a lot of people off. It's going to relieve a lot of us, but it's going to piss a lot of people off too, right? So I would think that they would go ahead and put the bigger fencing up for that. Now, let's go back in time a little bit. And it has been time. I mean, it's like, I've seen so many major things happen here that I know were huge, except I don't have any titles for them. I don't, when you hear that it's probably that, but I don't have any real confirmation. That's why I can't say that. I don't want to say that. So let's go back. When they put the big black fencing up here for Roe versus Wade, that fencing, I believe that fencing went up on May the 5th, okay, for 2022. And that fencing went up, what we were told was for Roe versus Wade, okay? So let me try to get all this straight because it's a lot. So the fence went up on May the 5th. All right. Now, May the 11th, 2022, so just a week later, this place was freaking a nightmare, okay? This place was covered. And not only that, but they had security up the yin-yang on that day here. And they had the Capitol Police Mobile Command Unit over on the Capitol property. But also over here, and some of you will remember this, that have been with me that long. Over on this side, they had the Baltimore City Mobile Command Unit. Now, the Mobile Command Units are used, they're brought in when they're expecting, riots or something like that. It's for emergency purposes so they can get shit rolling on the ball right away, okay? So they actually brought the Baltimore one in here, okay? And it was parked within the fencing in the Supreme Court parking lot on the other side of the building. And not only that, they had tons and tons and tons of officers within the building, in that same parking lot, okay? Tons of them. And I was like, whoa, I've never seen anything like this. It's one thing for us to see the Mobile Command Unit for the Capitol, but what the heck is, Baltimore City's doing here? I mean, they certainly were, that day planning for, or pre-planning just in case, something large, if you're going to have two of them, one each across the street from each other. Okay, so then, on May the 16th, so the following week, and I'm going to put something together, but I'm not going to share the videos. You're going to have to go back on Telegram and look for them. I'm not going to actually share the videos because, I don't want people to think that they're recent. And I'm just not going to do that. You guys can go back. I'll put something together and put it out so you can go back and look at all of this, all of the dates, and you can go back and watch. So on May the 16th, that morning, remember, I caught all of that behind, on the south side of the White House, all of those military buses, okay, and all of the different branches of military getting out of the buses with all the flags. You remember that? Okay, and then later in the afternoon, and I was like, what the heck? And they were all in their dress uniforms and everything. I'm like, what the heck is going on here today? So I caught them there and was able to video them. And then later in the afternoon, I guess around 3 o'clock, they had that incredible ceremony in front of the West Wing, the Oval Office. Do you remember that? With all the flags. It was an incredible ceremony. And, they kicked us all out. I got there just in time to catch the first, 5-10 minutes of it. And then they kicked us all out on the other side of Lafayette Square to the street. We were not allowed to be up there any longer. All right? So then that happened. And then about 2.5, 3 weeks later, something like that. Now, that day, let me go back here. I know this is a lot. Now, that day when I put out the videos for that big military ceremony, whatever that was, never seen anything like it, and it was absolutely majestic. It was beautiful. Later that night, some guy did a TikTok, and he said that what he believed took place that day was the Convention of States. Now, I don't know a whole lot about that stuff, so I'm not, he said that he was mind blown, that, it appeared to him that we watched the Convention of States take place with that flag ceremony. So, so let's skip ahead again. 2.5, 3 weeks later is when all of the state flags at the Smithsonian History Museum, all of the state flags went to half-staff. Do you remember that? And they stayed at half-staff for a couple of weeks. And nobody could give us, I called and they were like, we didn't even know they were like that. I'm like, what do you mean you didn't know they were like that for a couple of weeks with no explanation. Okay, so then, the flags, after a couple of weeks, went back up. They were all the state flags. And then we got our decision here for Roe versus Wade, a whole, June 24th, I think that was the day. And then that fencing remained here for another 2 months. That fencing did not come down until the end of August. Like, it was like August 25th or 26th, something like that. So that fencing, that big black fencing that we were told that went up for simply Roe versus Wade, stayed up for almost 4 months. And it was up for 2 months after the decision came down. Which, to me, that didn't make a lot of sense because there wasn't a whole lot of nothing, so why leave it up? And then during all of that time, if you remember, like that street that goes behind the Supreme Court here, they would keep the metal pop-up barriers closed. So like on this corner and then the corner on the other side, they have those metal pop-up barriers. And they would keep those closed. And there would be tons of agents along the back of the building. Tons of agents. So I have always questioned, like, what the hell took place during that period of time? Because that was an awful lot. And see, I don't know enough to put it all together or claim it or title it to be something. But I do know that it was incredibly crazy. And I've never seen anything like it in that, within that period of time. Maybe when I put it together, I'll just take some screenshots and pics and make sure I date them and put just the pics out. And you guys can go back and watch the videos if you choose. And maybe, Derek Johnson will see the military ceremony and maybe know a little bit more about it and can comment on it or make a post on it, or someone that may know what that ceremony was and could it all possibly be tied together between that ceremony and the fencing, the mobile command units, and the flags, the state flags all being at half staff. And I thought about that all last night. I'm like, when everybody was like, oh, are they going to overturn the 2020 right now because of this fencing? I thought, I really don't think that's going to happen. But I do wonder if it happened back then. And we just have not been told about it. And it was rumored at the time that that's what happened. But like I said, I can't confirm anything. I can't confirm a whole lot of stuff that I've seen here, but it's been, I've seen some incredible crap here that's definitely not normal. So that'll be my plan. Let me see if these guys are gonna... I'm leaving. Okay, guys, I think I'm leaving! I gotta go. I gotta shut down. Yeah! Capitol Police. I'm gonna take a quick ride through. It's very, very quiet. So you probably will not see me. Because I'm just not hanging out. So if you see me, you see me. If you don't, I love you guys, and I'll see you soon, but I gotta go. Bye.